We are the DCL, the World Championship of Professional Drone Racing. I'm Matt Andrews and welcome to Day 3 of our all-new DCL Falcon Cup, which means welcome to the first day of the elimination brackets. Yes, all 6 of our professional teams began over in our main bracket of our tournament. But if you lose a match from there, you find yourself over in the elimination bracket side. And you don't want to be there, because if you lose another matchup, you are out of the cup. And that's what our teams are fighting for today. Our first matchup will feature Cyclone Racing, who are the reigning world champions. What are they doing fighting for survival so soon? Well, they're up against a team with absolutely nothing to lose. Phoenix Racing, some pilots who we know from the history of the DCL, but coming together to form a brand new team. After that matchup, oh yes, it's a rematch, and who doesn't love a rematch? It's Quad Force 1 from America against DCL's WildCard team, and earlier in the Falcon Cup, the WildCard team beat them by just 1 point. Now Quad Force 1 are looking for their revenge and to send the WildCard team packing out of the cup. The track for the Rebound Round quarterfinals. It's a return to the capital of Liechtenstein. This is Vaduz, and that is the government building, no less. And after looping there and going through A2RL, we'll go over the rooftop of the building before pulling back on a split S through this DCL gate and Foxeer. Then the 2 rings next to the castle walls before we head to the back of the government building again, drop down through that ring, a slalom right and left through the DCL gate, right and left over the rooftops, and in front is the beautiful St. Florence Cathedral and this tricky drop. 3 gates, opposite directions. When you complete that, you've got 2 more laps ahead of you. Here it comes then for Cyclone and Phoenix. Do or die time from this point onwards. You've got to win this matchup to stay alive in the Falcon Cup. Atakan and Min-Jae Kim for Phoenix against Yayu and J-Box for Cyclone Racing, and they'll hate being in this position. They're the reigning world champions. They shouldn't be in the elimination bracket already. Let's see what they can do against Phoenix Racing. Atakan here, leading into the slalom. Yayu just passes him. Don't let that put you off. Oh, he's turned too soon. You have to go around that apex of that pylon and all the other pylons. And as he makes his way down through the drop, Min-Jae had problems with the rings. He had a few problems with them in our last race day, so he'll be hating those again. And now they are both over 2 seconds behind the pair from Cyclone. J-Box here is in second place behind his teammate Yayu, comfortably ahead of the pair from Phoenix. They don't need to do anything crazy here, and Yayu's taking nice clean lines and making his way through the drop onto lap number 3. J-Box about half a second behind him. Atakan a bit closer than he was. Actually, that was a good end of the second lap for him, but the gap is still very large. I think Atakan got almost within a second of the pair of Cyclone, but now that gap has opened up to quite a lot more. And yes, at the end of the lap here, this is the 3rd and final lap. Yayu to the drop. J-Box still with him. It's going to be a 1-2 for Cyclone.
Nice. Good job, guys.
Let's go. Let's go. That's exactly how we wanted to start.
Let's go.
Great job, guys.
Dude.
Great job.
Awesome. That was sick.
Great racing.
That's Breton, the owner and manager of Cyclone Racing, along with the Ice Cheetah, one of their pilots. Both of them spotting and helping the team as that race went along. Yayu gets his 2nd win of 2025. And this is where Yayu took the lead from Atakan, who then missed that pylon, unfortunately, and had to go back for it. And just that little turn cost him a few seconds, and that was him basically behind Cyclone for the rest of the race. So 7 points to 3. Cyclone have a lead over Phoenix. Now Valprim and Zion will take on Trinks and Birkin. Now this is Valprim's first race in purple. He's been a member of Rebound Racing for the last couple of seasons, but he joined Cyclone before 2025 began. Zion has been with the team basically since it began a couple of years ago. Round the back of the government building, everybody through the 2 rings, but Zion bounces off of that one. Zion to the back. Not too far behind Trinks, who's in 3rd. Valprim just a little bit ahead of him, and there's Birkin, who's leading everybody on the start of lap number 2. And there's Valprim with a bit more altitude and a much wider turn there. I've spotted him in other races taking some lines that seem a little bit different to other pilots. So we'll just keep an eye on where he thinks his quickest route around this track in Vaduz is. He's moved past Birkin there, just on that dive through the ring and over the rooftops now. It's a lap since he was chasing Birkin here, down through the drop and starting lap number 3. Right, with 0.3 of a second between them. Is Birkin going to be able to catch Valprin? For that matter, is Zion going to be able to swap places with Trinks back in 3rd and 4th? It's looking like that gap is too big. As Zion is slipping and yes, losing more time now. Some problems for him at the back. And Valprin has managed to get another 10th or maybe 2 ahead of Birkin. He's just so smooth. He's going to get the win, but a good effort from Phoenix to try and stay with him.
Oh my god, man.
Let's go.
And they hear the different reactions from the teams. Phoenix trying to keep up with Cyclone, and Cyclone's manager chilled and happy. Valprin's first race for Cyclone is his first win of 2025. I'm sure there will be many more. Zion here was in the middle of the pack until he bounced off that ring on the drop behind the government building. Otherwise, Valprin, it's just so tidy. Look, there's no second guessing, no hesitations, no wobbles. It's all intentional and it's all good. But with Phoenix coming 2nd and 3rd, that race was actually 5 points all, so it hasn't done anything to extend Cyclone's lead. Phoenix still with a chance where they can catch and outscore and eliminate Cyclone in the DCL Big Heat. To the power loop, everybody in there very close. Trinks hits the A2RL gate and has gone straight into the side netting. Minjae's in a scrap with Yayu. Well, that's untidy by Minjae, and Yayu is almost passing him, but has gone all the way to the back. Oh, there was a lot of problems there. Minjae only just got through the 2 rings. Yayu, he made it through, but the pylon after him has wiped him out. He is far behind. That makes things a little easier for Phoenix. They got the 1st and 2nd, but Valprin between them now. Let's ride with him through the Foxeer gate. He's about 0.3 of a second behind Atakan, and Minjae is barely a few hundredths behind him. In fact, passing him now, but going a little bit deep on the turn afterwards. That sees Minjae stay in 3rd behind Valprin. Atakan to the drop, hits the 2nd ring, missed the 3rd. Atakan out of the points. He's down into 5th. 1st and 2nd would have scored Phoenix 7 points. It would have been 3 for Cyclone. We'd have gone to a tiebreaker race, and instead, Cyclone's Valprim and J-Box are now muscling their way past Minjae. They're trying to take the 1-2 for themselves. Now, that's where Minjae went too deep last lap, but that was a really good turn from him. He's still in the fight here into the drop. This race could be anybody's. It's Valprim!
Let's go.
Nice.
Let's go.
Cyclone getting the 3rd and 4th as well.
That's it, boys. Good job. Great job.
We're in the top 4, right? That's it?
Yeah.
Yep. So that qualifies us.
Yep.
We did everything we
That
needed to
pushes us
do.
through.
Just 0.05 of a second between Valprim's win and Minjae chasing him. J-Box was only 0.13 of a second behind Minjae. Turned out to be a well-fought 2nd win for Valprim in his 2nd race for Cyclone. Really tight at the beginning, everybody through the power loops, everyone around the government building, but a lap later it was all starting to split up, and then there was always this battle at the front, and what a good finish by all of them. A lot of pressure there. For a while, Phoenix could have won that one 7 points to 3, but it ends up being Cyclones, which gives them a 19 to 11 points win over Phoenix. Sadly then, Phoenix Racing are the first team to be eliminated from the DCL Falcon Cup, as they have now lost both of their lives. Cyclone remain in the elimination bracket on just 1 life, and they're going to next face the winner of this, Quad Force 1 against the DCL WildCard team. This is actually a rematch of our quarterfinals when these teams met. There, the wildcard team narrowly beat Quad Force 1, 16 points to 15 in a tiebreaker battle. And in that first race between them, it was pretty much this lineup. West and Hyper were racing for Quad Force 1, but the Bob was alongside Danube, and now Gilbert has joined him. Gilbert battling hard with both of the Quad Force 1 pilots. The Bob just a slight bit ahead of everybody, although that turn was excellent for both West and Hyper as they now head on to lap number 2. They're still about 0.2 of a second behind the Bob, although Gilbert slipping between the 2 American pilots, so Hyper might get a little bit of a surprise. Come down from the rooftop, head through Orca. No, Hyper bounces off the top of it. He is now firmly at the back, and the Bob, he's got about half a second ahead of West through the DCL gate. He's too low. West has gone over him and around the pylon, and the Bob has gone from 1st to 3rd, and West starts the final lap with Gilbert hot on his heels rather than chasing the Bob for the lead. Through the power loop he goes. Gilbert is right behind him. Does West know? He's going to find out soon as he's going to get a little bit of vision there. I think he might have just got a bit of a glimpse of Gilbert, and he probably does again as they go through those 2 rings. But West is flying cleanly. It's about a quarter of a second. Gilbert got to hang on tight, got to make this drop, and he was excellent last time in the drop in particular. Does he do it again? It's West hanging on.
Oh. Unlucky, boys. Great performance, so we'll take that.
Take a draw, yeah.
Bambi, the team manager there, telling them what a great job they did, and Gilbert saying we'll take the draw. He's right, it's 5 points all. That race basically cancels itself out, although West will be very pleased to get his 2nd win of the year. Hyper here, very close to the roof on the way up. I think that ruins his sight of the Orca Gate on the way down, which is why he hit the top of it. But what a comeback, he ends up only half a second behind on a really good finish by everybody. Second race coming up is going to feature QTFPV and Propsicle against Astronaut and Danube. So a different lineup this time, as Astronaut wasn't flying in the first round. Here's QTFPV through the power loop. The other 3 pilots all pretty much side by side through it as well, about a 10th or 2 ahead of him. Watch the exit of the rings here. Yes, Astronaut and QTFPV a bit higher on both of those turns than the 2 pilots in front of them, Danube and Propsicle, who are extremely close, 100th of a second between that pair as they drop down and now head to lap number 2. It's just a little bit bigger in the favour of Danube. Propsicle trying to get him at the power loop and hits it on the way down. He made it through the first ring, but not out of the second. He finds himself behind everybody with about 5 or 6 seconds of catching up to do, and nowhere near enough race to do that in. Now we see QTFPV all over the back of Astronaut, who's in second at the moment, and these pilots are about 1.5 or 2 seconds behind Danube, who's clear out in front, and the first one on to lap number 3. But there's a real scrap on between second and third, and Propsicle's heart is not in this anymore. We won't be seeing him for some time. Here's Astronaut, hanging on, just getting through that Orca Gate. It was a little bit dangerous. He's now staying ahead of QTFPV through that ring, and here comes the slalom, the right and the left, the DCL Gate. He carries on fighting there. Danube is into the drop first. He'll get the clean 4 points. Who's going to get the rest of them? QTFPV hits the last ring. Look at QTFPV's face as he realises what he did.
Oh, woo! Well done, well
That's
done.
massive.
Astro came in clutch there. What a performance.
And they've got the
Amazing.
roster depth. Like, this is fine.
Amazing.
They're enjoying this battle again. Danube and Astronaut getting the 1-2 there. QTFPV just behind Astronaut on that finish. Propsicle, unlike him, to have a crash like he did. Danube with another win for his new team. And I think Gilbert said we've got roster depth, and I think what he's talking about is if one pilot's in trouble, then another pilot is usually close enough to help. Whereas over on Quad Force 1, if Propsicle is in trouble, then sadly Quad Force 1 are in trouble. So it's 12 points to 8 in favour of the wildcard team, and this is an elimination match. The losing team here is out of the DCL Falcon Cup. The wildcard team would love to stay in this. Quad Force 1 will be absolutely devastated if they get eliminated from the Falcon Cup this early in 2025. So to turn this around, Quad Force 1 have to score at least 7 points. They have to at least win this race. Then we'll see where everybody else is after that, and everyone is pretty tight at the moment, half a second between all 8 of the pilots. And it's pretty good through the drop, although Hyper's the first one to get tripped up there, and he's at the back for Quad Force 1. Through A2RL, back to the government building. It's still Danube leading. Propsicle behind him. The Bob giving Propsicle a really good fight. Propsicle has been a previous Pilot of the Year, and he's been the captain of Quad Force 1 forever, whereas the Bob is only his second day of racing in the DCL, and he's fighting with one of the very best pilots we've ever had. Quick shout out to West too, who last year was on the wildcard team and got picked up by Quad Force 1. He is the other one in the scoring points at the moment, and we are on the last lap, coming down through Orca, and Danube just manages to get past Propsicle. Well, the Propsicle can't let him get away. There's only about half a lap left, and with only 2 of the pilots in the top 4, Quad Force 1 need them to be first and second. Propsicle doing everything he can, West fighting as well. Here's the last drop for the teams, and it's a wildcard win!
Fair play, guys. That's it.
Nice.
Danube, you were so gone. That means there's 2 teams out now, right? There's 2 teams that have lost twice.
It's okay, Gilbert, I've got this covered. But first, I want to point out that less than a second separated the top 4 and less than 2 seconds separated the top 6 pilots. What a close battle. Danube, the winner of it at the end, and that makes him the second highest point scorer in the Falcon Cup so far. He was under a bit of pressure from Propsicle throughout that, still managed to slip by him at that dangerous stage about halfway through the final lap, and then the chase was on and everybody giving it as good as they could get. Danube just managing to lead his team to the next round. 5-all, 3-7, 4-6 it works out as 18 points for the wildcard team and 12 for Quad Force 1. The wildcard team win, and Quad Force 1, one of the professional teams in the DCL, they're eliminated from the Falcon Cup. Commiserations to Propsicle and the team. I know many will be sad to see them go. The whole point of the DCL wildcard team is every year we give pilots a chance to show what they can do to the professional teams. Well, the wildcard team, I think they've got everyone's attention. Join me for race day 4 very soon, where we're going to be doing semi-finals on both sides. In the main bracket, 2 teams who haven't lost yet. Rebound Racing against SDT, one of the best rivalries and matchups we always have here in the DCL. And then out of the elimination bracket, well, it's the 2 winners of today, Cyclone Racing and the DCL WildCard team. Can they take down the world champions, or is that a step too far? Well, join me and the DCL next time to find out. We'll see you for the racing in the Falcon Cup, and of course, we'll see you in the skies.